like we were talking about like how important it is for agents to stay up to date on what's going on. Not just like focusing on leads and their book of business, but just knowing the outside environment.
Yeah, being a student of your industry or of your craft, right? We have to always keep learning, and that's how you offer value to your clients, and it's how you kind of stay on top of industry trends.
Good morning, insurance agents of the senior market. Happy belated Valentine's Day. Here with Kristen. Good morning.
Good morning, Bill. How are you?
I'm feeling good. Like just because Valentine's Day was yesterday, I felt like
it was on a Sunday, right? So happy Valentine's Day.
I read too. I thought it was really funny. We both walked in and we were both representing for it.
Absolutely.
So did you do anything special over the weekend? You know, what was kind of your Valentine's plan?
You know, not too much. My son is actually playing basketball right now. He's in middle school, and they decided to go forward with a COVID-safe environment. So, triple games. One parent allowed, so we rotate in and out. So that was my happy Valentine's Day.
Nice.
Yeah. How about you?
So it was interesting. I'd said to my girlfriend, like, what do you want to do? Do you want to go out to eat? And she said, I want you to cook me steak. Because
nice.
Apparently she said that my steaks are excellent. So I was like, okay, well let's sit up in front of the grill, and she made risotto, I made steak, and we just totally fed ourselves.
That sounds wonderful. That sounds wonderful.
No, it was a great time. So hey, but you and I were talking the other day, and like this whole kind of episode concept kind of came together. Like we were talking about like how important it is for agents to stay up to date on what's going on. Not just like focusing on leads and their book of business, but just knowing the outside environment.
Yeah, being a student of your industry or of your craft, right? We have to always keep learning, and that's how you offer value to your clients, and it's how you kind of stay on top of industry trends.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, knowledge is power. Mm-hmm. Like that's one I can remember. Yeah, I can remember my dad saying that to me when I was a little guy, and just always absorb that. And you know, I think that when you're only looking at the 6 inches in front of you, you're gonna fall down somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
And it's hard though. I'm gonna be honest. Like information's coming fast and furious these days. You know, it's not like you could just get your monthly periodical and read it. You know, in the old days. Now there's just so much data, so much news. So it can get a little overwhelming.
Yeah. No, I'd agree. And like it used to be. I can remember when I first started in the business that. Like there were magazines that would come out, and you know, like one from NAHU, one from like LIMRA, like different, you know, lobbyist organizations, and a lot of them were built just to have advertisements for distributors,
right? You
know, but there's a lot of good stuff in there. But you know, now, I mean, you really have to be online. You know, it's such a big key.
You have to be online, you have to be organized, and you have to know what you're reading.
Yeah, for sure. And for those of you that may have missed it, you know, one of the episodes that we shot just recently was Josh and I, and that's kind of what started the conversation with you and me about what we're going to do today. But if you haven't checked out the episode with Josh and I on trends in Medicare Advantage decision making, that kind of came from some of these online sources where we get information, here's a little snippet about what we talked about there. So the second article that we were talking through was on healthcare finance, which I really like their stuff too. You know, they kind of take a more, you know, like dollars and cents approach to some of the healthcare news, as opposed to kind of some of the other publications we read. But their article on January 28th kind of covered a number of subjects. Where there were two, you know, pullouts for me in terms of looking at it. The first was. They cited some data that of the people that they were polling that were on Medicare Advantage to begin the AEP, 25% of them kept their MA plan but switched doctors.
That's crazy. Like how often do we have conversations either about agents or with agents with their, one of the top things that they say is how little their clients want to switch their docs during AEP to switch to another plan.
I hear it all the time.
It's nonstop.
So hopefully our agents get a chance to check out that episode.
You know, definitely. I really like that episode, especially when you referenced the articles. And that's why I came and said, you know what? Like, I think it's so helpful when you're in this business to know where your peers are going for information. And we can collaborate and grow together.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you missed that episode, but you're going to go check it out, you don't have to miss any more. Make sure that you subscribe to the Neishloss Fleming YouTube channel. Turn on those notifications. Bing! I always like doing, I don't know why I like doing that sound effect. Like I like the thought of I do my finger and like Ryan makes the bell ring because Ryan's the magic man. But for whatever reason, I just like doing it. But hey, Well, let's talk about this. I know that during that episode that Josh and I did, we had a couple of different websites that we had gotten the articles from. When you're trying to stay informed, do you have a couple sites that you really like going to that you think are really valuable?
I do. So I have a couple that I keep bookmarked, and when you have time, you go on there and check out the headlines, what's happening daily, and it really helps you to know what's on topic, especially during COVID. Like, there's a lot of really interesting topics that are surfacing now. So I look at Medicare, I look at aging, and I look at insurance. Some of the two that I like, Kaiser Health News. Right. I like that a lot. On that particular site, you can actually drill down to the topic of interest. So, for example, Medicare is a topic, Medicaid's a topic, aging is a topic. They even have a whole COVID-19 section now. Yeah. So I find that information very topical, very well written, and it's kind of like a quick read. They also have a daily news digest. You can subscribe to it if you want. For me, that gets a little overwhelming, so I would rather just go and look at it. Yeah. But that's also if you want to just look at the headlines. You can see that. The one other site that I like, you and Josh actually referenced it in your video, the Healthcare Finance News website is also very good. A little different angle, but really topical articles there.
Yeah. Well, when you and I were talking just about kind of favorite sites, like you had talked about Healthcare Finance, which I really like, and Fierce Healthcare was another one that you referenced when we were kind of chatting.
Yes.
I like both of those sites, and they both have different perspectives, and this is something for our agents watching at home to realize that each of these different sites, it's not like it's a one site fits all.
Yeah.
That each of them kind of take a different perspective. Like the Healthcare Finance site, it's pretty simple. Like they're taking a real dollars and cents look at many of these items. Fierce Healthcare is different because I actually really like their takes on things, because some of these sites, I don't want to say they're trying to be politically correct, but they're trying to be very balanced. Like Fierce Healthcare, I find, oftentimes will say the things about a subject.
A little more bold.
Yeah, they are a little bit more bold is the right way to put it. Like they're willing to take a hard angle on something, and that kind of fits their name. And that's what I really like, because they sometimes will cut through the bullcrap of, oh, well, the carrier's doing this, the carrier's doing that. No, here's what's really happening.
Here's
let's
the story.
get to it.
Here's a little bit like a journalistic take on it, maybe. And they also, Fierce has a nice broad landscape too. So one insurance segment often leads into another, right? So you can look from the payer view, you can look at group, you can look at a lot of different aspects.
No, I'd agree. Those are two really good ones. For me, I would think the two that I hit most often, one is Kaiser that you talked about, and I really like that site because of the breadth of what they're bringing to the table. I mean, as well as the subcategories.
It's a little more research. I find it a little more research based, maybe.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of times they're not just doing hot takes on something. That you're getting, like when you get a piece from Kaiser, a lot of the times what you're getting is they worked on this for a month, and they're building in. Like here's the subject, here's some data tables that come with it, and I'm a data guy, and so I really like that mix of what's the narrative and what's the kind of the data that goes with it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. The other site, and those of you that are regular watchers to the program know that I love insurance forums, and insurance forums isn't necessarily news. Like it's not obviously put together by journalists. I mean, it's Bob Smith agent who's out in Boise, Idaho. Who's saying, hey, here's what I'm seeing's going on with Central States of Omaha Med Sup product. What are you guys seeing? Or, there'll be Jimmy in Houston, Texas, who said, can you believe this? I got these 5 apps declined for, smoking, and they said they take smokers. But that sort of crowdsourcing news on the forums, I think is really neat because you're getting firsthand, information. Now, you have to sift through it a little bit.
Yeah, to me, it's the new coffee break. So when you don't know what's going on, you can, you can't go to the coffee station anymore, but you can go to insurance forums and see what your peers, because we all get obscure questions daily. Yeah. You can go on there where something happens. You can usually go on there and find someone else who's had a similar experience or has an opinion that you can then track down.
Yeah. Now, and I'd agree with that. Like you talk about the coffee break. I think sometimes the independent agent who, is operating out of office, out of their home, doesn't have the benefit of the water cooler or the coffee break. And insurance forums, I think what I really love about that for all of the agents that work with us is it's like working in a 2,000 person office of independent agents. Without having to worry about who's microwaving fish in the kitchen. I mean, it's like
you clean it up after.
Yeah, I mean, you can get
Well
get
said.
the information without having to deal with all of the office stuff.
Yeah. And the it's very topical. I mean, it's a great resource.
Yeah. And the other thing too that's neat that I like, and I think that Sam and Kara and the rest of the team at Insurance Forums do a great job, with that site. They're good friends of ours. But specifically, you can go there and maybe you have a question on underwriting guidelines on a med sup, or renewal payments for a particular carrier. You just type in the search, and it's like here's you can search the whole website or forum. So I find that incredibly helpful.
That's a great tip.
Yeah, for sure. So one of the things that I was thinking about when we started talking about the articles about what was my favorite sites, I thought, well, how did I first encounter Kaiser Health News, or how did I first encounter Fierce Healthcare, or whatever, and that brought me to Google Alerts. Which is something that we talked about. So wanted to do for our viewers today just a quick walkthrough on how to build your own Google Alerts so that you can find websites that you like, you can stay up to date on specific content that you're really into. So Ryan's going to help me do the visual walkthrough here of how to build your own set of Google Alerts to stay informed. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go to google.com/alerts. Now you can either just type in Google Alerts to Google and it'll take you right there, or you can just go to the website address thing and type it in. But that's where you'll go. The next thing that's going to come up is an area for you to search for subjects or keywords. Now you can type in anything you want. You could type in UPMC, you could type in Medicare Advantage, you could type in telehealth, any sort of subject that is of interest to you. But the key here that I think is also very helpful is when you type in that subject or keyword, it's going to give you a preview of current articles that would come up if that was your Google alert for the day. One other item, and I think this is kind of a cool thing to do, I recommend everybody that I talk to about Google Alerts do this, put in your own name, because you never know what somebody's saying about you online. So that's always a good thing, just in case somebody's out there saying, Bill Correa is a terrible person, or Bill Correa wore a funny suit on this particular show. You'll know what's coming at you. So also a good recommendation.
At your own risk.
Yeah, but you know what? It's happened. I've
sure.
seen it. Yeah, so always a good thing to make sure that you're protecting yourself online. But the last item that comes in after you put in a subject, it's going to give you some settings and some selections that you can use to kind of fine tune what happens. Now, some of these, are probably less important than others, but one that I think is incredibly helpful is region. So let's say, for example, that you're a Bob Smith agent and you're based in Philadelphia and you put in Medicare. Well, do you, Bob Smith, living in Philadelphia, maybe you're in Doylestown, maybe you're in Lansdale, maybe you're in Chester, wherever you are in the greater Philadelphia market, are you super concerned about what's going on in Medicare in Washington State? Probably not.
Right.
So, from the job that I'm trying to do for you guys, I'm trying to, kind of see what's going on everywhere. But, if you're operating in the greater Philadelphia market, you probably don't care about that. Being able to use the region selection is helpful to kind of sift out the stuff that's really not pertinent to your business.
Yeah, because, it takes some fine tuning. So if you just put in Medicare, you're casting a pretty big net. So if you can fine tune to what you need, it would be helpful. You'll get back more relevant information.
So also an interesting point on that about relevance. There is a program called Medicare in Australia. And when I first put in Medicare, it's like, oh, okay, I'm getting information from Australia. I was like, okay, I'm not super interested in this. So, and that's how I found the region selection. Which I think is super helpful.
Yeah, that's a great tip. I don't know if I even have been doing that, so that's great.
Yeah,
I just learned something. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So here's a great question, Kristen.
Okay.
Other than just kind of finding those favorite sites in Google Alerts, what's another way that our agents can stay informed?
Well, they can call us or call me. We'll be happy to help you.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
Or comment below, right?
Yeah.
We'll reach out.
Yeah, no, that's great. So if you're looking to get a hold of Kristen or Shalisha, anyone else on her team to help stay informed about what's going on in your market, make sure to give us a call here at the office, 800-562-7733. We got a ton of great people, including Kristen and her team, who are here to help you. So
we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
No, this has been a great show. Again, happy belated.
Belated.
Yeah, we both rolling in the red. So we will see you guys again on Wednesday, February 17th at 7 a.m. This is Kristen, I'm Bill, and this has been Near and Far. Have a great rest of your day.